Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from Glimmergleam56 and it says, am I the arsehole for calling the cops on my brother after he stole from me? And this story has multiple updates as well. It says, me, 19 female, and my brother, 17 male, have never really gotten along. He's always been kind of reckless, but lately he's been getting worse. Sneaking out, lying, and now stealing. A few days ago, I noticed some money missing from my room. I don't keep a ton of cash, but I had about $300 saved up for something important. Gone. At first, I thought I misplaced it, but then I checked my brother's room. And guess what? Found some of my bills crumpled up in his drawer. I confronted him and he straight up denied it. Even when I showed him the money, he said he found it outside. Like, bro, be serious. I told my parents, expecting them to back me up, but they brushed it off like, he's just a kid, he probably needed it for something. That pissed me off, so I told my parents he either gives it back or I call the cops. They didn't take me seriously, so I actually did it. Not to get him arrested or anything, just to scare him. The cops came, talked to him, made him give the money back. They didn't charge him, just gave him a warning. Now, my family is mad at me, saying I took it too far and should have just let my parents handle it. But they weren't doing anything, and I'm tired of him getting away with stuff. Am I the arsehole for calling the cops on my own brother? Nah, so not the arsehole from me in this situation, and I imagine, like we see in many of these stories, that this is just the beginning of the behavior, and we're already seeing signs of the classic golden child syndrome playing out. $300 isn't a small amount of money. It's not a, oh, you know, kids are going to be kids. And in my opinion, you tried the reasonable route at first by going to your parents, and they failed to parent. And I believe sometimes people just genuinely need those wake-up calls in their life, and that's exactly what happened, I think. But a commenter says, not the arsehole. Sometimes tough love is the only way to make someone wake up. You didn't ruin his life. You might have just saved it. Another commenter says, not the arsehole. You did give your parents an opportunity to handle it. They chose not to. So they can't really justify complaining that you turned elsewhere to handle it. Another commenter says, not the arsehole. Your brother stole from you, and your parents refused to do anything about it. If they had handled it properly, you wouldn't have had to call the cops. You didn't press charges, you just made sure he faced some consequences. Hopefully this will teach him a lesson before he escalates to worse things. So OP came in with their first update and said, so things have been awkward as hell at home. My parents are still acting like I'm the villain, and my brother has been giving me the silent treatment, which honestly isn't the worst thing in the world. But here's where it gets interesting. Turns out I wasn't the only one he was stealing from. A few days after everything went down, my mum pulled me aside and admitted that some of her money had gone missing too. She thought she'd just misplaced it, but now she's realizing it was probably him. I didn't say I told you so, even though I really wanted to. I just gave her a look and was like, yeah, exactly. Now my parents are finally taking it seriously, but instead of being mad at him, they're talking about how he's just going through a phase and how they don't want to be too hard on him. Meanwhile, he's still stomping around the house acting like I ruined his life. At this point, I've just distanced myself completely. I'm keeping my door locked and not leaving anything valuable around, and honestly counting down the days until I can move out. Didn't expect this to get so much attention, but I really appreciate all the comments. It helped me see that I wasn't overreacting, and honestly, it's been reassuring to know that I wasn't crazy for standing my ground. So, do I feel bad? Nope. Do I still regret it? Still no. If no one else is going to hold him accountable, at least now he knows I will. OP added an additional comment onto that and said, didn't think this would blow up like it did, but glad to know I wasn't overreacting. Definitely keeping my guard up from now on. Thank you guys. And as I said, we have another update in a moment, but someone said to OP, good for you for standing your ground. Unaddressed phases become ways of life. He doesn't know it, but you're the only one actually interested in helping your brother. Another commenter says, tell your parents that if they refuse to teach him accountability themselves, the penal system will be doing that job for them in a few years. Your brother is 17. Barring some form of severe brain damage, he knows stealing is wrong. Stealing is only going to be a phase if he is taught consequences now. And one more comment which says, also, people need to stop acting like teenagers are just kids, as if they simply don't know any better and can't help it. The fuck they don't/can't. Yes, they're still technically not adults, but that doesn't mean they do what they want without consequences. They're old enough to know better. Hell, 10 is old enough to know better much of the time. I'm just so sick of enabling parents. So OP came in with another update which said, so things have escalated a bit since my last update. My parents finally started taking things more seriously, but not in the way I expected. Instead of actually holding my brother accountable, they're now in full-on damage control mode, acting like this whole thing is just a family issue that got blown out of proportion. A few days ago, my dad sat me down and basically told me that I need to let this go, because my brother is apparently really struggling and I made things worse by involving the cops. He said my brother feels like I betrayed him and that I should be the bigger person and try to fix things. Meanwhile, my brother, no, he hasn't apologized, hasn't even acknowledged what he did. He's just sulking around the house acting like I ruined his life, and now he's trying to turn things on me, telling family members that I overreacted and made things way worse than they were. I've completely checked out at this point. My parents are clearly more worried about keeping the peace than actually teaching him consequences, and I'm just tired of it. I'm looking at moving out sooner than I planned because honestly, I don't feel like being in a house where my own stuff isn't safe, and I'm the bad guy for expecting basic respect. Not sure if I'll update again, but yeah, that's where things stand. Didn't think calling out theft would turn into full family drama, but here we are. OP adds, and I didn't think standing up for myself would turn into a whole family crisis, but I guess expecting basic respect was too much to ask. Someone said to OP, they're saying to keep it in the family, right? I'm not seeing any specifications of immediate family. Maybe talk to some extended family and have them give their opinions as well. Another comment says, turn it around. Ask dad, is it a bigger problem if brother learns it's okay to steal, or if he's hurt from a little valid feedback? Or tell dad that if he feels it's no big deal, can he give you the $300? Wake dad up. See if he likes losing $300. Not the arsehole. Commenter says, your parents are enabling him. It's only going to get worse if they keep making excuses. Moving out sounds like the best move for your own sanity. And one more comment which says, I'm sorry it's come to this for you, but you are correct in that your parents care more about their reputation and your brother than his criminal behavior. Individuals such as your brother won't be able to get away with their crimes for that long. Continue with your plans and make sure your brother doesn't steal anything else from you, and your parents don't withhold your essential documents from you. Good luck. Hope everything works out for you. And OP comes in with one more update and says, so I ended up having another conversation with my parents, mostly because I couldn't keep walking around the house with this giant cloud over everything. I told them again that I'm not trying to ruin anyone's life. I just want to live in a home where my stuff doesn't get touched, and I'm not made out to be the problem for setting a boundary. My mum kind of softened a bit and admitted they might have been too quick to defend him. But she also said they're just scared of pushing him further away. I get that, I really do. But I told her protecting him doesn't mean ignoring the things he's doing. My brother still hasn't apologized directly, but he did stop talking shit about me to the rest of the family. I think someone, maybe my aunt, told him he was being immature and making it worse for himself. Since then, things have been quieter. Not better, just less tense. I've started looking at part-time jobs and roommate listings so I can move out sooner. I don't hate my family. I'm just tired of being treated like I'm the one who crossed the line for wanting basic trust and honesty in my own home. Anyway, I didn't think I'd post a third update, but I guess I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who helped me feel like I wasn't insane. Still kinda sucks, but at least now I know I'm not alone. And who knows, if things get weirder, maybe there'll be a fourth. And the last batch of comments which says, moving out sounds like the healthiest option. You deserve peace, not tension in your own home. Someone says, OP, tell your mum she doesn't have to worry about pushing him away, because in less than 3 years, he'll be in prison and won't be able to get away from them. Tell her that they created this monster. So don't act like the victim when the spoiled, enabled, and entitled boy becomes a spoiled, enabled, entitled man. But when you're an adult, it isn't just boys will be boys thing. You steal, you go to jail. Tell her that this is the future they've made for their son. If you don't want to tell her that, show her this thread, and we will tell her. Prison is full of mamas, misunderstood good boys that the world is just being mean to. And one final comment which says, I'm hoping no more drama, but update when you move out. The truth is that kids and parents do make mistakes. Yours very much have. More than anything, they have failed your brother. Kids need structure and to understand that actions have consequences. He's going to be a shitty person who gets himself in very serious trouble if he continues on this path. Your parents can't protect him from the reality of this world. You can't protect your parents or your brother from what will happen to him via his own bad choices. But you don't have to subject yourself to this nonsense. You can save and move out. Make your own good choices. Obviously not the arsehole, and I hope you're able to find some roommates and move out soon. And I think a lot of the comments were right that the real world isn't going to be so forgiving as he does get older. I mean, he's 17 now. So in a way, both these people are being failed. Him for not facing any sort of consequences for his actions and being enabled in a way, and OP for not having their boundaries and their property protected, which is an incredibly sad situation. And I think, OP finding their own safe place is the best solution for herself at the moment. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from Throwaway Cookie from the Am I the Arsehole here subreddit. And it says, Am I the arsehole for giving my brother-in-law his favorite cookie when he was being rude? It starts off. So this whole thing is a bit confusing, hence why I'm here for some advice. My 17 female, oldest sister 25 female, husband, let's say SpongeBob. Oh no, the brother-in-law's going to be the bad guy and calling him SpongeBob. I can't do bad by my boy SpongeBob, so let's just go with Bob. Is well one of those people who would call themselves as just brutally honest, but are actually kind of rude. My sister doesn't mind and many times has to act as a peacemaker whenever Bob makes a snide remark that causes tension in the family. However, he went too far when my other sister, 23 female, told the family that her fiance cheated on her with his co-worker. To which Bob went, I'm so sorry. It's wrong to do that, but to be fair, you do look different from what you used to, and maybe he lost attraction. Now, my sister is struggling with PCOS and has gained weight recently. She is obviously very self-conscious about it and hence started crying after hearing such remarks and left shortly after. My oldest sister, of course, tried to defuse the situation and said that he meant no harm, and that's just the way he is. If only you guys could see my hands whenever someone says, just brutally honest, or that's just the way he is. It's a little dance I do. My parents were very angry, and for a few months were low contact with my oldest sis, but eventually everyone forgave each other. I didn't like how again and again our family had tension because of it, so I came up with an idea. Bob loves chocolate chip cookies that I make, so I made many small cookies, filled them in a jar that I secretly named the Prick Pacifier. And later, whenever he would say something rude, I would open the jar and give him a cookie, saying, here's your peace offering. Every time that would happen, everyone would burst out laughing and he would shut up. It's been some time and he hasn't made any snide remarks, but yesterday my sister texted me how Bob feels disrespected and they won't come for dinners if I don't stop giving him cookies. To that I replied, here, you need a cookie too. Don't be a prick, have a cookie. She called me names and blocked me. My family finds it hilarious, but now I think I might have gone too far. Am I the arsehole? Commenters say on this one, people who self-proclaim themselves as brutally honest know they are arseholes and tell people they're brutally honest to prepare others for it. There is a difference between honesty and cruelty. Brother-in-law doesn't know the difference. However, this is a weird way to reward his behavior. They're his favorite cookies. He makes a horrid comment and he gets a cookie. That doesn't quite make sense to me. Anywho, not the arsehole. It's about time someone put him in his place. Opie says it's more in the sense of shut up and in return I will give you a cookie. Of course, I didn't say it out loud, but he understood. Commenter says, was I the only one who started reading this thinking that you were just shoving cookies in his mouth before he started speaking to get him to stop? Lol. Sorry, this is fun in itself. Love it. Opie says no. I wish I could, but my family's younger ones cannot be rude or talk back at adults, so a cookie is all I could give. And one more comment which says, oh boy, I love this. You're fighting, that's just how he is, blunt honesty with, that's just how she is, killing it with kindness. I've legit giggled at this because you were doing nothing wrong. And brother-in-law is getting self-conscious about his behavior that he needs to reflect and change. Not you. Absolutely, easily not the arsehole, but totally hilarious. So OP did come in with their update on this one and says, update. Okay, so I think for now the situation is sorted somehow. Thanks everyone who commented, because for a moment I did think I went too far. Okay, so after I got blocked, I told mum about it and she said she would talk to my oldest sister and asked me to stay away from the matter for now, but reassured me everything will be fine. I don't know what exactly happened, but my sister, 23 female, told me later about it. Apparently my older sister vented about the whole thing to our cousins. We're all very close, and from there many people from our extended family also found out about the cookie story. They all formed a group chat that included my cousins, both my sister, my mum and my aunts. I wasn't included as the adults wanted to discuss the matter on their own. Well, they all basically shared their own experiences when Bob was rude to them as well. Like when he said that one of our cousins' wedding was sort of tacky, or when he was criticizing my other cousin because she didn't know how to cook, so her husband does most of it. There were a lot more things which were being told, and my oldest, let's call her Buttercup, had no idea of. They all found the cookie story hilarious too, and even said they will all keep small cookie jars at their homes just in case. But I think Buttercup was sort of embarrassed because she said she will have a chat with Bob, and later he came to the group chat and apologized. I don't know how genuine, but oh well. He even texted me and told me that even though he is still hurt, but understood where I was coming from, I can now stop giving him cookies that way. I apologized too, out of respect, and offered him the cookie jar, but this time as an apology. He said he will accept the peace offering. My sis unblocked me and said she was sorry for lashing out. I love the idea that someone told me about the FU cupcakes, and my cousin and I decided it's probably what we're gonna make if he acts brutally honest again. Because, oh well, who won't like a little cupcake? It was kind of the vivid image that OP painted for me on this one, that they're all in this room sat together and he's chatting some kind of shit. That OP pulls out the cookie jar and goes, "Would you like a cookie, brother-in-law?" Knowing exactly what that means. It's like, and then he sits there angrily eating this cookie. But what do you guys make of this situation? I've never heard of FU cupcakes either. Or is it pronounced fuck up cakes? I don't know. You have to let me know. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's have another story. Now, our next story is a bit of an older one. It's one of those ones without updates, but I personally found quite interesting. It was from 2020, so there was talk of COVID as well. It's titled, "My 28 male co-worker, early 30s female, is leaving her husband for me. We are not involved. I'm a single man who lives and works in a large American city. My co-workers and I have been working from home since mid-March due to COVID. Paige, not her name, and I are close colleagues, but we're not really close personally. The company we work for can be broadly defined as selling professional services. We sit at the same desk pod and support a lead salesperson with a group of clients spread out in the region near our office. So, in that sense, we are close. We work together frequently on the same projects, in the same role, but there has never been what I would consider to be any romantic tension between us. We don't communicate socially except for idle chat throughout the day. I don't believe we've ever had an extended non-work conversation outside of a few midweek happy hours. On one occasion, our whole team traveled to an out-of-town industry conference where we had a few glasses of wine until about midnight. But this was in a small mixed group. There was no flirting and everyone went back to their respective hotel rooms. Our social circles do not overlap. She's married to Dan, not his name, and has been since we started working together about 3 years ago. I've met him a few times at company functions. He seems like a nice enough guy, and she hasn't made comments at the office indicating their marriage is going badly. We do not text outside of work hours, except the odd work issue that pops up on the weekend. Last night I got a text at 9 PM from Paige that read, "Can't wait to be roomies," with a couple of Zillow links attached for apartments. It did not register at the time that it was weird for a married person to be researching apartments, so I responded, "Wrong number, but those places look cool though," thinking she was just getting a new roommate, and sent it to the wrong person. She wrote back, "No, for you and me, after all this." I just wrote back, "What?" and went back to watching TV. Didn't think anything of it then, that was weird, and went to bed at around 11. This morning I wake up to several texts, missed calls, and a voicemail from a local number I don't have saved. It's Dan wondering what the hell is going on. That Paige had told him after the quarantine was over, it was over between them, and we're moving in together, and that I'm a piece of shit for using our work relationship to come between them, etc. At this point, everything clicked into place regarding the text from last night. I figured I would just take a screenshot of our text chain, and that would be the end of it. Maybe there was just a big misunderstanding, or their marriage was on the rocks and she was moving in with a friend, and they could leave me out of it. I sent him a screenshot and he just wrote back, "Ha, nice way to cover your ass, scumbag." And that's it. I've called and texted both of them a couple of times with no response. I'm just beside myself here. Our work is really slowed down since COVID began, so we don't really have any active projects together at the moment, and she hasn't been logged into Slack all day. What should I do here? Green-Eyed says, "I think she's either having an affair with some other person and using you to throw Dan off the trail, or she's having an affair with someone who has the same first name as you and texts the wrong one." They've gone silent now because either the deception or the mistake has come to light and they're embarrassed or busy fighting it out amongst themselves. Commenter says, "No matter what you do or how things unfold, please make sure to always keep a paper trail. There's a decent chance this woman is unstable. There's also a chance a husband could physically escalate the situation based on faulty information. In either scenario, legal action may be necessary, and you want a record that demonstrates you're the innocent party. You mentioned you've called both your coworker and her husband. Stop. Only communicate via email and text. Don't respond via phone if either party calls you. Limit yourself to written exchanges. If you have any phone conversations with your boss, HR, or other relevant parties, immediately follow up via email to thank them for their help / taking this seriously, to confirm that you discussed ABC and that you'll be in touch. Good luck with everything." And OP was replying to all the comments and basically just said, "Okay, based on everyone's advice, I did let our boss and HR know about what is going on." There was a lot of nervous chuckling. HR is going to try and talk to Paige, who has apparently been in contact with our boss about work-related things today, and Paige didn't mention anything unusual. Edit. I also text one of the mutual acquaintances I know. We have to let her know what's going on and see if Paige has ever mentioned anything like this to her, which would be pretty strange since I don't think they know each other that well. Haven't heard back. Other than that, I've told my boss I'm logging off for the day, and I'm just going to wait and see what happens. One of the commenters mentioned below this that they reckon there's no update because OP wisely chose to change his name, abandon his life, and flee as fast and far away from the situation as possible. And I guess there could be many reasons for why Paige has done this. My initial thoughts as I was reading it is some sort of mental health episode. But you know, it could be like other commenters said, a fantasy that she's constructed, or she's using OP as an excuse to end her marriage without having to take on responsibility for the decision. But what do you guys make of this one? It's one of those ones that I'd love to see an update. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but I would love to see an update on that one. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being involved. Truly, it's absolutely amazing. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.
Wake up, get up, stretch my legs, eat some breakfast, milk and eggs, brush my teeth up, wash my face, throw my clothes on, start my day. Wake up, I can smell the smoke from the bacon. Let's go, see the sun shining from the windows.